we? Listen, I made some homemade chicken quesadillas, and baby, let me tell you something. These things was good. You hear me? So of course I had to come back with a recipe. Now I'm gonna be honest with y'all. These quesadillas got a lot of components to them. But if you be patient and you make this recipe, you gonna really like it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is start off with the chicken. Okay, I got some boneless, skinless chicken breasts that I washed up and cleaned. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut them up as thin as I can because this chicken is gonna be shredded. And I'm gonna go ahead and season it with some chili powder, some onion powder, uh, of course some garlic powder because it ain't a recipe without the garlic. And I'm also gonna put some ground cumin in there and some kosher salt. Be generous with the kosher salt. And I'm gonna put some lime juice in there. Now, for those of y'all that don't know, when you are picking out your citrus fruit, anything citrus, the smoother the skin, the juicier the fruit will be. The more porous the skin, the drier the fruit will be. Okay, so I'm gonna use, I think I use like 2 limes, and I'm gonna use a whole lot of fresh cilantro. Now, I'm not gonna post a recipe to this chili lime chicken because I already have a recipe making this chili lime chicken the exact same way. The only difference is I use bone-in chicken. So if you watching this video from YouTube, I am gonna post the link to that recipe up here. So now that I got all that in there, I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze that lime juice in there, a whole lot of lime juice. And I'm gonna use chili oil as the binder. It don't matter what type of oil you use as long as a cooking oil. I use chili oil because that's what I had in there, and I actually think it's quite fitting given that this is chili lime chicken. So now that I got that seasoned up, I'm gonna go ahead and set that to the side and let that marinate. In the meantime, I'm gonna get the other components ready. Now I'm going to make my pickled jalapenos. Now I'm using rice wine vinegar. I'm also using white distilled vinegar. I'm going to use kosher salt as well as granulated sugar. And I'm also going to put some water in there, and then I'm going to set that on the stove and let the temperature get up to warm. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because um the reason why I'm heating up the solution is because I want the jalapenos to pickle instantly. Now if you make this in advance, you don't have to use the hot solution. I'm using a hot solution because I wanted to pickle instantly because I made everything at one time. I'm gonna cut up a whole lot of garlic. Some of the garlic is going in the jalapeno, in the pickled jalapenos, and some of the garlic is gonna go inside of the fresh pico I'm making. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut up all of those jalapenos. Um, I also have a recipe already for these pickled jalapenos, and if I can find it, I will insert it right here. Now, some jalapenos is also going to be going inside of the pico, so I'm going to go ahead and dice up 1 jalapeno for the pico, and I'm going to go ahead and sit those jalapenos over to the side. Now, I'm going to put those sliced jalapenos in a jar, and I'm going to add the rest of the solution in there. Now, if the solution comes out to be not enough, just go ahead and add some more warm water in there, okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and get ready to make the pico and the guacamole. So I'm going to be using, for the pico, I'm going to be using the red onions, and this was about 1/4 cup of diced red onions. And then I'm just going to go ahead and take a little bit of that red onion and put it in a separate bowl for the guacamole. I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone, y'all. Just stick with me, okay? So for the guacamole, I used about 2 tablespoons of the red onions. Now I'm going to be using these plum tomatoes. Now for these plum tomatoes was pretty darn big, so I only needed 5 of them, and I'm gonna decor those plum tomatoes. I don't know if decor is a word, but I'm gonna go ahead and use it in this context anyway, and julienne those tomatoes, and then I'm gonna dice them up. And of course, one of those tomatoes, I'm gonna save it to the side and put it for the guacamole. Okay, now I'm gonna cut up the lime again. These limes was actually really juicy, so I didn't need to use that much lime juice. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the avocados ready. Now these are 3 avocados, and this type of avocado was said Mexico or something like that. I forgot which ones it was because I know there's like different ones. But I'm using 3 avocados. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in a bowl with the diced tomatoes, the diced red onions, and I'm gonna use the lime juice. I only use 1 lime again because the lime was very juicy. And for the salt, I'm using 1 teaspoon and then a half a teaspoon of ground black pepper. Then I'm gonna go ahead and mix that up until it's like smooth, chunky. I like mine a little bit chunky. And now for the pico, the tomatoes in there, I'm gonna go ahead and add the lime juice, the juice of 1 lime. Again, these limes were very juicy. For the salt, I'm using 1 teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of black pepper. I'm gonna go ahead and mix that up, and y'all, this smells so fresh and good. I'm telling y'all, when y'all make all of these sides, make a lot, because I'm telling you, you're gonna eat it all. You hear me? Okay, so I'm gonna set that to the side, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this chicken cooked. Now for this chicken, I'm gonna put it on medium high heat. Now because I cut this chicken up pretty thin and it's boneless and skinless and it's white meat, it's gonna cook fast. It's literally only gonna take about 4-5 minutes max to cook this chicken. Now as the chicken is almost done, I'm gonna go ahead and shred it up in the pan instead of doing it in a bowl just to save some dishes. Now once that chicken is cooked, I'm gonna go ahead and remove that chicken from the pan and set it to the side. Wipe the pan out a little bit, go ahead and hit it with some salted butter, and then I'm gonna put the flour tortillas in there to go ahead and assemble the quesadillas. Now for the order, I'm putting Fiesta blend cheese. You can use whatever type of cheese you want. I wanted a mixture, so that's what I used. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put a hefty amount of that chili lime chicken breast in there. And then next I'm gonna go ahead and put the jalapenos. I put a lot because I love jalapenos, and I'm telling y'all, when and if you make these jalapenos, you're gonna want a lot too. Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and put that fresh pico in there. I'm gonna top it with some more cheese. Then I'm gonna go ahead and fold that quesadilla over. Now this literally only gotta cook like 30 seconds on each side, no more than a minute, depending on how brown you want it. So now that that is done, I'm gonna go ahead and remove it from the pan, and I'm gonna cut it into fours. If you're greedy, you can just cut it in half. But I cut mine into fours, and this is what it looked like. Now again, you can put however much of each ingredient inside of the quesadilla as you want. I try to eat less food, so I didn't put a whole lot in there. I'm gonna go ahead and assemble those quesadillas on a plate. I got my sour cream and that fresh guacamole on there. And of course, I gotta hit some of the dried cilantro for a little razzle dazzle. And this is the finished product, you guys. I'm telling you, you got to make this recipe. Be patient. I know it's a lot of steps, but I promise you, you are going to love it.